Good day, fish tankers. Today is going to be a shorter video to answer a simple question that I see on the forums all the time, which is the quietest air pump on the market. Here's one of our simple, cheap, torchlight battery operated air pumps. And listen to this. I don't know if you can hear it there in the speaker, but it sounds like an outboard motor running. Now I'm going to give this away to a friend of mine who's an avid deep sea fisherman. He can use it on the boat out there at sea to keep bait alive, but I can't sleep with this. So let's see which is the quietest air pump. And guys, if you stick around to the end, there's also a bonus tip. Okay guys, tell me in the comment section which air pumps do you think are the quietest. Which air pumps do you use? I would be interested to know. This is not a sponsored video. All these air pumps I paid for myself. Nobody gave them to me. So that's just been my experience with them the last couple of years. I'm a noise sensitive person, so I really don't actually like air pumps. I stopped using them years back when I was still a student at varsity. Replaced all my fish tank filters with power filters. Water pumps are a lot quieter, you don't hear them, they're almost soundproof. But now with the unreliability of electricity supply here in South Africa, the cheapest way to safeguard your fish is to use these ACDC battery operated air pumps. Unless you have, of course, a inverter system or a solar backup system in your home, then it's a non-factor. So I'm going to start with a normal plug-in air pumps that work on the main power supply. For those of you who are not struggling with load shedding or has an inverter. Now the standard answer that you're going to get is the Tetra APS series of air pumps. And you'll see it's a real solid little pump with rubber feet. And I believe in America and in some other parts of the world it's known as the Tetra Whisper. Here it's the Tetra APS series. And this is a very solid air pump, very reliable. It's got spare parts. And I think it's about as quiet as you're going to get an air pump to be. So my number one for just a normal plug and play air pump without the battery function would be the Tetra APS. But there's another one. These pumps can be a bit pricey. There's another one that's a little bit cheaper that I've discovered by chance, that is also very quiet. The difference is almost not discernible. And that's this little one. It's called a crawfish. Also have them in different sizes, just like the Tetra APS air pumps. But these little crawfish air pumps, they are also very, very quiet. So if you don't want to shell out the money for the Tetra APS, the Tetra Whisper, the crawfish brand by Flamingo, this is also a very good side. Okay guys, that brings me to the ACDC air pumps. These are air pumps that simply has a lithium battery backup. So when the power goes out, the battery takes over. When the power goes on, it continues seamlessly and it charges the battery. Now, I know you guys in America has got the Aquarium co-op air pump that's got that function. We don't have Aquarium co-op products in South Africa, but I've heard good things about it. Corey, if you're listening, send some of those down here. But this is usually the go-to one for an ACDC backup air pump, the most cost effective. We have an older generation. I don't know if you can hear out there the difference. And this one, over time, it got quite noisy for my taste. So Sobo did listen and they brought out a newer one. This is the new generation. Here's the old one. This is the new generation air pump. And I've reviewed it extensively, but it's a lot quieter. This would be my number two choice for a quiet ACDC battery backup air pump. You can hear the difference. I don't know if you can hear it on the video there. Guys, let me know in the comment section. I haven't got the lavalier mic on now. I'm just working on the microphone of my smartphone. So tell me what the sound is like in the comment section as well. I'm always trying to improve these videos for you. But this would be my number two choice for ACDC battery operated air pump. This is a new generation Sobo SB428. The new generation Sobo SB428, and these air pumps, I've had them operate without power for 12 hours straight, no problem. They are only about half pin at that stage. So this would be my number two choice. Then also all of these pumps, they have a function where you can have an alternate stream of air, so it bubbles for 15 seconds, it's off for a few seconds. You can have that if you really want to stretch that battery out. I've never needed to use it. And else you can just have a normal continuous stream of air, and they also have an indicator that shows you how much battery you've got left. Now this is the SB428, and if you do not need that much air, there's also got a smaller little brother, the SB418, the Sobo SB418, and this is just if you need a little single outlet to maybe just operate a single sponge filter in a smaller tank, then this one is perfectly adequate. So these two Sobo ACDC air pumps, the SB series, would be my number 2 choice for Quietest ACDC air pumps. And that brings me to my number 1 choice for the Quietest ACDC battery backup air pump, and this is this big black box over here. It's the Sobo A12F. Now it's a twin outlet air pump. It's a big twin outlet air pump, so it's more than you need. It's operating 2 Aquariums here, and it's not going at full blast either. It's more than you need, but you can just turn the setting down and not operate it on full power, and it's perfectly okay. And this, I've got to say, is definitely the quietest air pump around. I think it's even quieter than the Tetra Whisper, the Tetra APS, and the Crawfish. Very quiet pump. So if you're very noise sensitive, overkill a little bit and go for the Sobo A12F, quietest ACDC air pump on the market. If you just want the ordinary, I will, as I've said, the Tetra APS or Tetra Whisper and the Crawfish, they are the quietest ones in my opinion. So that's what I think. This is my number 1 of them all. Okay guys, here's a bonus tip for sticking around until the end. Let's say you're in a store. Unfortunately it's not going to work online, but let's say you're physically in the pet store or in the aquatic shop, and you're not quite sure how noisy the pump is going to be. Here's a little bit of a hack that I found is a good indicator on the noise level of the pumps. Just, if the owner will allow you, just take the pump out of the box and tap on the casing. You can hear here, it's a hollow sound on the casing here. This one, this little outboard motor that I'm going to give to my pal, very hollow sound on the casing. And if it's got that hollow sound, you know the casing is thin. They try to cut corners there to maybe get into a price bracket, and that will make the pump be a lot more noisy. Now if you can look at the other pumps, I'm not going to take the big black box out here from the back, because it's all plugged in and playing there. But if you look at the new generation Sobo pump, and you tap there, you hear it's a much more solid sound. Hence the pump is a lot quieter. If I look at this little Crawfish, also very solid. And the Tetra APS, or the Tetra Whisper as you call it in some countries, solid as a rock. It's like a tortoise way it's built. So that's a way which you can determine whether an air pump is going to be noisy or not. It's not 100% foolproof, but I found that it's a good indicator. So that's it from me guys. As always, if you found the content useful, please hit the thumbs up, like, and please subscribe to the channel. I will greatly appreciate it. And until we see each other again, please take good care of those domestic denizens of the deep.